Hello and welcome to the Pedders Suspension and Breaks Outer East Football Netball Show, brought to you by Gameface. I'm Aidan Miller, and once again alongside me in the studio, Steph Barkers. Good afternoon, Steph.
Good afternoon, Aidan. I know I say this a lot, but I cannot believe we're at episode 9. This season is flying, but it's been great.
Most certainly is, Steph. We're getting very, very close to the middle of the season. And speaking of that, coming up in this episode, we'll bring you all the latest news from across our competition.
Ones to Watch is back, of course. We highlight some more top performers for the season so far.
Our Match of the Round preview between this week's Match of the Round of Alexandra and Yay.
There's match day interviews from the weekend with Yarra Glen's A-grade captain, Alana McGurgan, who avoided us last year, but we got her on the weekend. We'd been wanting her for a while.
We most certainly did.
And the Senior Football Pride Cup best on ground, which was D'Angelo Taito from Pakenham.
Also part of our Young Gun series, our in-studio guest for this week was Upton from Mount Evelyn.
And Fantasy Footy and Netball is back after a few weeks off. So today we'll be picking our wing attacks for netball and our centre lines in the footy.
And also a big thank you to Pedders Suspension and Breaks, our partner for the Outer East Football Netball Show for season 2025.
Let's get into this week's news. We firstly wanted to note that our next theme round is Soccer to MND round, which will be from June 13 to 15. So if you haven't already, make sure you order your socks and support this incredible cause.
We'd like to shout out our May winners for the Volunteer of the Month and Coaches of the Month. Our Senior Volunteer of the Month is Kylie Garlick from the Yay Football Netball Club. Kylie was nominated for her work as the Women's Football Team Manager, which is a new side for Yay this season, as well as her work as the club's photographer.
Our Junior Volunteer of the Month is Rach Maxwell from Wesburn. So Rach was nominated for being a little bit of an all-rounder, a team manager, working in the canteen, selling merch and more. So while she was nominated for her work at Wesburn, Rach is also a big part of the senior club at Warburton Millgrove as well. She's the vice president at Wesburn, but she's also on the committee at Warby, and she's co-captain of the senior women's side. So huge. And congratulations to both Kylie and Rach for being our Volunteers of the Month.
Very well done. Now for our Coach of the Month, who thanks to SSA Sports have won a $100 game voucher to get some new equipment to help them support their teams at training and on game day. So first up, our junior football was Miles Gerard of Belgrave Junior Football Club.
Unders netball was Corinne Bogle and Erin Foote from Wandon Football and Netball Club.
The under-18s football was Sam Kidd of the Alexandra Rebels.
Open netball was Erin Mullen from Powtown Football Netball Club.
For women and girls, it was Luke Bunches from the Woorialloc Football Netball Club.
And last but not least, for senior footy, it was Bobby Vegas from the Seville Football Netball Club.
So congratulations to all those coaches who were named and also the volunteers, and we can't wait to see all the nominations for Volunteer and Coaches of the Month for June.
Ones to Watch is back once again, and my goodness, it was actually tough to pick ones to watch for this week because there are a lot of great performances on the weekend, but I couldn't go past Eliza Molino.
She was fantastic.
From Pakenham, obviously was given the best on-ground medal in the Pride Cup game between Yarra Glen and Pakenham. But talk to me a bit about her game on the weekend. What do you think?
Deservedly won that medal, I think, on the weekend. It was pretty tight, I think, between her and Katie Cook, but I think it was the defence of Pakenham that really won them the game. They pushed Lara Wanda-Collins and Maddie Hargrave out wide, didn't allow them easy shots at goal, so that was fantastic. And not only that with Eliza, but obviously she plays with our community partner, the North East Blaze. She's also had representative opportunities with Victoria and Australia, so she's got a really bright future ahead.
Absolutely, she is so fun to watch because she is amazing. I also couldn't go past Tanner Stanton. He's someone that we've sort of mentioned briefly a couple of times, but not really had a good look at so far this season. He is new to Pakenham. His dad, Justin Stanton, is the new coach at Pakenham. 33.8 disposal average, 12.7 score involvement average, and he's number 1 in Div 1 at the moment for effective disposals, which is massive. Like obviously big amount of disposals in general, but number 1 for effective disposals, which I think is really important. He's been super impressive and definitely one to keep an eye on.
Definitely hits the scoreboard a little bit as well, does Tanner Stanton. Really got on the weekend. He was probably up there, but I think D'Angelo Taito probably deserved the medal, but it was a strong performance. For women's footy, it's hard to go past Phoebe Dixon of Alinda Fernie Creek. She kicked 3 goals on the weekend, as well as a couple of goal assists as well, so she was heavily involved in the scoring. She also chops out the rucks when the ball goes inside forward 50 for those forward 50 stoppages, so really important, quite a versatile player, and very hard to go past for this week's ones to watch.
Absolutely. So it is time now for our Yarra Valley Water Juniors Corner for an update on our junior competitions. First and foremost, our junior player of the week was Willem from Emerald JFC. He is a great little midfielder who tackles well. He took some strong marks and was not afraid to fly for a mark of the year whenever he had the chance. So hard to go past, and a great game, Willem. Congratulations.
Fantastic. The Netball Victoria Association Championships are this weekend with our 15 and under and 17 under OEFN OEFN representative teams competing on Sunday, June the 1st at the Knox Regional Netball Centre in Ferntree Gully. Best of luck to our 2 teams who are competing. We can't wait to be there and support you on the Sunday.
Yeah, very much so. Looking forward to that this weekend. And one that I am... Oh my God, when I got this message, Aidan, I could not believe this.
Yep.
I need to talk about Harlow Newing from Westburn. She's only played 52 games.
Yep.
She has kicked 100 goals in 52 games. A junior player, absolutely incredible. So as I said, couldn't even believe it when I got that news, but definitely deserves to be recognised. That is an incredible achievement, Harlow, and yeah, keep up the great work. Okay, so before we get into this week's Match of the Round preview, we are, of course, going to reflect on our tips from the weekend just gone. We both tipped Pakenham for both the football and the netball, and both were correct.
Yep, that's
Finally, we both got them both correct. I think that's probably the first time that this has happened all season. So.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steph.
Okay, but let's have a chat about both those games. So start off with the netball. It was a game we were both really looking forward to, and I think it definitely was worth the wait.
Yeah, it was. And it was a really tight contest in the first half, although Pakenham, I think, really did run away with it in the second half. Yarra Glen really put up a good fight in that first half. Alana McGurgan, who we interviewed before the game, was really quite good. I was really impressed with the performance as well of Georgia Crugnall in goalkeeper. She really kept Charlotte Hoodlin pretty quiet in that first half, who is the leading goal scorer in Division 1. So that was quite a tough task for her, but I thought she handled it pretty well. But yeah, some of the key players from Pakenham, as we mentioned, Katie Cook, Eliza Molino in defence, really did a good job of Maddie Hargrave and Lara Wanda Collins. Then through the mid-court, it was a really impressive performance by Millie Utba. She was around the court all day. Started centre, played a bit of wing attack in the last quarter. So really good performance by her. Charlotte Hoodlin still had a pretty good game despite, I think, a pretty good job done by Georgia Crugnall. So that was really well done. And Kelly Cousins also in goals was quite influential. So really strong performance by Pakenham. Good fight by Yarra Glen. But yeah, Pakenham were just a bit too strong in the end.
And of course, they obviously remain undefeated. And wow, they are going to be tough to stop. They've proven that.
Most certainly. A 23-goal win over a team who played in a prelim last year is certainly putting the competition on notice.
Definitely. All right, let's move over to the footy now. And I would say quite a similar story. Definitely a great fight from Yarra Glen, but again, Pakenham just too strong in the footy.
You got to give Yarra Glen credit because when you look at some of the margins that Pakenham have been winning by this season, 135 points against Powelltown, 163 points against Yarra Junction, even 114 points against Belgrave. To go down by 42 points, honestly, a pretty commendable effort. You got to give them that. So I think it was, and I think a similarish type game to the netball, where I think it was a really good fight to half time. In particular, the first quarter, they did kick the first 2 goals. Pakenham did sort of regain control from there, so it was really well done. D'Angelo Taito was really influential in the ruck, and he deserved that best on ground medal. I think he probably would have had at least 80% of the hit outs all day. Tanner Stanton, Luke Ryan, really good in the middle. So a really good performance by Pakenham, staying undefeated just like the netball in 2025.
Yeah, and I will point out, obviously not as important as the results of the game, but Chloe from Pakenham does her dim sim reviews, and she has said Yarra Glen's got the best dim sim so far.
Yeah, she did.
So...
Was it 8 out of 10, was it?
It was. I think it was an 8.5 even. I'm not sure.
There was a 0.5 deduction for a plastic fork.
For not having any forks left. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty big wrap. So Yarra Glen doing lots of things right. The dim sims, also the pride ceremony was beautiful. And just the way they go about that entire round and the celebration and the inclusion and diversity. And for Pakenham coming into the division, both netball and football also, being really open and involved in all of that was awesome to see. So great from both clubs. Let's go into this week's Match of the Round preview now. Of course, it is Alexandra versus Yay.
This week, we head into the Murrindindi Shire for a battle between traditional rivals. And last time they met, both games were very, very close. Neither of these clubs had the start they wanted to season 2025, but that doesn't mean they're giving up, because good teams can just play, but the great teams keep going, no matter what. Alexandra and Yay have a point to prove this weekend. It's the Rochford Match of the Round.
taking a look at a matchup between two local rivals heading into round 8. The last time these two sides played was in round 10 of last year, and Yea won that game in a bit of a cliffhanger by 4 points, 11-10, 76 to 10, 12 72. So a pretty tight one. Coming into it this season, Alexandra just sit within the top 5 with a 2-4 record, whilst Yea do sit outside at 7th with a 1-5 record. So really important for both of these teams to get a win. Yea trying to get back in there, Alexandra trying to hold their spot. Some of the key matchups for Yea, Dan Evans, he's the leading midfielder disposal getter with 22 disposals a game this season. I reckon he'll go head-to-head with Sam Boots, who's leading the disposal there for Alexandra with 18 a game, also averaging 11 contested disposals a game. So it's going to be one of the big ones. Looking forward to the ruck battle as well, I think, between Lockie Nankervis and Blake Searley. Lockie's averaging 30 hit-outs a game, Blake averaging at 21 a game, so I think that should be a good physical battle. Then down both ends of the ground, I think Sam Nicholson will go head-to-head with William Stewart, who's second in goals in Division 1 with 19, and I think Tom Boots will match up on Jack Rennicks, who's Yea's leading goal kicker with 8 goals for the season.
I think this will be an exciting one, as you say, important for both clubs, and I'm really looking forward to that ruck battle. I think that'll be my favourite matchup of the day.
Heading across to the netball, like the last time these two sides played, it was also Yea who won at a bit of a cliffhanger. 38-36 was the final score in that game of round 10 last year, so hopefully we see some really close results again this year as well. For this season, coming into it, Alexandra are 7th on the ladder with a 1-5 record. Yea are 8th on the ladder, yet to get a win at 0-6. So really important for both of these teams to just get a win and just keep themselves alive in 2025. Some of the key matchups, I think Jess McDowell go head-to-head with Claire Junkfur in the mid-court. Down both ends of the court, Laura Skipworth, I think, will go head-to-head with Georgia Jessel, who's Alex's leading goal scorer. And then Jasmine Collette probably going head-to-head with Meg Sunbaum, who's Yea's leading goal scorer.
Both exciting matches, and yeah, hopefully, I think they will be close. I really do. Let's have a look at tips then for the footy. Who are you going to go with?
I reckon I'm going to go Alexandra on the home deck.
Okay, all right. I am going to go the other way, and I am going to say that Yea are going to get one on the board, and it's going to make the ladder very interesting.
Yep.
Netball.
I think I'm going to go with Alexandra as well for this one.
Yep, I'll agree with you on that one. I'm going to go with Alex in the netball.
Our exclusive Local Footy Hub game this week, which will be available to our Local Footy Hub subscribers, will be between Emerald and Upwey Tacoma, and also the women's filmed match will be between Upwey Tacoma and Belgrave.
Beautiful. All right. Well, before we move on, let's take a look at the community picks because we put it out to all of you again. We wanted to know what you thought. First and foremost, our footy match of the round between Alexandra and Yea.
Also, our netball match of the round between Alexandra and Yea.
We have our Local Footy Hub live stream between Emerald and Upwey Tacoma.
And our women's football field match between Upwey Tacoma and Belgrave.
Well, our first special guest this week was Alana McGurgan, the A-grade captain at Yarra Glen.
I'm joined by Alana McGurgan, a Yarra Glen's A-grade captain, coming into their round 7 clash against Pakenham. And Alana, you must be very happy with the start to this season, 4-1 so far.
Yeah, we've had a really good start to the season, so I'm very happy. Yep.
Pretty big game, this one against Pakenham, who are currently undefeated. What are some of the plans to take them on?
Oh, I think just focus on our game. We haven't actually versed Pakenham because they've just come into our division, so it's a bit of an unknown, but it's exciting. We'll just focus on our game today, working it on to circle edge, and hopefully not throwing too many long bombs into Maddie.
Yep, most certainly. Bit of an interesting one for you because you are coming up against your VNL coach, Matt Cook, with the Peninsula Waves.
Yes.
Must be a bit of an interesting one coming up against him.
Yeah, it is. I think Matt knows me through and through, so it's a bit difficult there. He's coached me since I was like 16.
Yep.
I've been with him at Saints and now Peninsula Waves, so it will be exciting, but a bit nervous coming up against my coach, obviously.
Obviously, he knows you pretty well, but you must know a couple of things of what he's going to throw out there today.
Yeah, of course. And I also play with Katie, his daughter, so at least I have a little bit of insight into them as well.
No, most certainly. Coming off a couple of really good seasons yourself, Alana, back-to-back League B and F medals. What do you think is really attributed to that form over the last couple of years?
That's a hard question. I don't know. I think my teammates around me make me look good. I think you can't win those big awards without the help of all your team, so I can't just take that myself. Like, my team really do help me, and I think my VNL as well also helps me bring that to Saturday games as well.
Yep. Third season now with Yarra Glen after coming across from Woorialloc. What about the club have you liked so far with your time here?
Yeah, I love the club. It has a really good family kind of vibe to it. Everyone's very close. Everyone's supportive. And I think that's what makes our club so good.
Yep. And last couple of seasons, the team has come really close to success. Grand final in 23, prelim last year. The girls really hungry to try and make amends and go a bit further this year.
Oh, we're always hungry. It would be lovely to get that win. I guess just one game at a time at the moment, though.
Yep, most certainly. Alana, thank you so much for joining us and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Our second interview was with D'Angelo Taito, Pakenham's ruckman, after his best on ground performance in the Pride Cup game against Yarra Glen. Well, joined by D'Angelo Taito after Pakenham's round 7 victory here at Yarra Glen Showgrounds over Yarra Glen, and D'Angelo must feel very happy going 6-0 for 2025.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Feels good. Full credit to the boys.
Yep. What do you think's really brought on the form in season 2025? It was a little bit disappointing last year, but you've really turned it around.
I think it's just we had a good pre-season. All the boys are pretty fit and proven we can run out games in the second half. And yeah.
Yeah, most certainly. Had a really good game today, mate. You were awarded the best on ground medal. How did you feel like you went?
Yeah, pretty good. It was nice. Good wrestle. Love wrestling. I don't like jumping in the ruck, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yarra Glen got the jump on you there with the first 2 goals of the game, and you're able to wrestle that momentum back. How do you think you're able to do that?
I think it was just all the boys just staying composed. Doesn't matter about the scoreboard pressure. We just kept grinding away at it.
Yep, scores, of course, level at quarter time, and you really sort of took the game from there. What were some of the messages at quarter time that really kind of turned the game around?
Just keep playing our game. We knew we had the win in the second quarter, which would have helped us.
Yep, D'Angelo, thank you very much for joining us, mate, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, mate.
Last but certainly not least, it is week 5 of our Young Gun series, highlighting some up-and-comers in our competition, and this week's guest is Ava Upton from Mount Evelyn.
Ava, thank you for joining us in the studio today. We really appreciate having you in, of course, and giving you your time out of your day. But the first question we wanted to ask was, because of your mum's career, we assume you probably grew up around netball courts and it being just like a second nature to you. But we wanted to know, in your own words, why did you start playing netball?
Well, honestly, I started playing when I was about 7 or 8. And I was terrible. I hated it. I just stood there on the court. So I played basketball for a bit, came back, and then I actually loved it. And I always went to Blaze trainings, and I don't know, I probably took in some information from that, even though I was young. But just implemented it, and yeah.
Ava, obviously your family are very synonymous with the region. You spent most of your playing career at Wandon, but this year you did move to Mount Evelyn. Was that because you wanted to be alongside some of your Blaze mentors like Ella Bayliss and Caitlin Black?
Yeah, 100%. Ella's an amazing player, and KB, but especially being able to work with Ella like in the attacking end, she's just great. She has really good court craft, and she just helps me out, tells me what to do, and I pretty much just do whatever she says.
Yep. Can you explain a little bit more about the structure of the North East Blaze as a VNL club? You're currently playing as part of the VNL Reserves, but tell us about the different squads that are part of the club and what it means to be a VNL Reserves player.
Yeah, so we have 2 development teams. We have a 19s team, which they play on a Friday night, and then we have the Reserves team, which play on a Tuesday night. And that the Reserve team are more for like the up and coming into the VNL. And then we have 23s and Champ, which obviously play on the Wednesday night.
Can you tell us a little bit more about a typical week between training and playing both locally and with the Blaze?
So my week starts from Tuesday. I have school netball in the morning, and then I have my Blaze Reserves game in the afternoon. Wednesdays, I have, if I get the opportunity to, I'll play on the Blaze 23s team. And then I also have school training. Thursdays, I have my Mount Ev training, and then Fridays, nothing on Fridays. And then Saturdays, I have my Mount Ev game, and Sundays, I have my Blaze training.
Since being in a VNL program, what do you think you've learned or improved on?
Definitely my court craft, like my spatial awareness, knowing where to go, my confidence, just popping up the shots, and my leadership. I feel like I'm really good with communicating with everyone on court.
We know that when you have a busy schedule, it's important to try and take some time away from it and wind down. Can you tell us what you'd like to do to take your mind off of netball?
Yeah, so I'm a very introverted person, so I like my own space. So I like just, chilling in my room. I'm a bit of a nerd. I like to read, so get my mind off of everything, or, just hang out with friends, go shopping, whatever again.
Who is a player locally at VNL or even Suncorp Super Netball level that inspires you, and what do you like about their game?
So from SSN level, probably Kira Austin. I think she has really great court craft and she's an amazing goaler. Probably from like VNL-ish level would be either Ella Tennant or Georgia Moody. They're both like fitness freaks. They also have really good court craft, know where to go, and they have great leadership skills.
What is your ultimate goal when it comes to netball? Is it getting to SSN level?
I guess everyone probably wants to get to SSN level one day. But yeah, probably, or just as high as I can go, even if that is in VNL still. So, whatever that is.
Got to ask, Ava, knowing that your family's got very close ties to Wandon, your old man's particularly quite passionate about the club. How did he take the news that not only you were leaving Wandon, but you were joining one of their arch rivals?
Look, he did try to convince me to stay at Wandon for a bit. He, as everyone knows, he still is there on a Thursday night. He will not wear this scarf, so that just says everything, I guess.
Very good. Ava, thank you so much for joining us in the studio, and good luck for the rest of the season and the career ahead.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, well, we've had a few weeks off. Fantasy footy and netball, it's back. And this week we might start with the netball, and we're going with our wing attacks. Who are you going to be adding to your team?
Oh, it was a bit of a tough decision, this one, Steph, but I have decided to go with Soph Hennessy of Evelyn Ferny Creek. Of course, she's come across from Narre Warren, playing in their back-to-back premierships in 2023 and 2024. She's also got VNL experience playing with the Burundara Express. Star player. She can also go into centre as well. She's a pretty versatile mid-court, even centre player, wing defence. So Soph was my choice for wing attack.
Absolutely fair. Well, I have gone with Genesis Foster-Jonathan. I could not go past her. We've spoken about her before. We've interviewed her early in the year. She's just having a breakout season. She obviously has plenty of finals experience as well. And yeah, same thing, a mid-quarter who can sort of play anywhere but spends a lot of time in wing attack, and just couldn't go past her.
No, absolutely fair enough, Steph.
All right, let's go with women's footy now. We're picking our centre lines. Who have you gone with? I'm quite jealous of this lineup, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough. Well, this is one player who I did retain from last year, Lily Carlin of Elinda Ferny Creek. She started on my bench last year, so she's been given a bit of a promotion. She will be starting on the ground in the wing. My other winger will be Paige Newman from Emerald. She's had a pretty good season as well. She's made their best players the last 3 weeks. She did get named in the team of the week last week as well, so she's putting together a pretty good season. And then my first on baller will be Emerson Woods of Warburton Wesburn, and pretty self-explanatory right there. She's just a star player of the competition, so really hard to go past.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I have gone with Adelaide Caldecott from Hillsville. She's currently spending some time with the Eastern Rangers, but when she has played with Hillsville, she's been listed in the best players for every game that she's played. Couldn't also go past Laura Gillard from Emerald. Obviously got to look at her playing in that team last week. She'd come over from Monbulk, but I felt like she gelled really quickly and easily with that side. Played on the wing, but kicked a couple goals as well, so couldn't go past her. And someone I'm retaining from last year is Izzy Weston from Thornton Eildon. She's regularly made the best players. She already made a couple of teams of the week. So yeah, I'm really excited to have those three in my lineup.
Definitely some good selections there.
Last but certainly not least, let's take a look at men's footy. And my God, for me, there was so many players to choose from. I actually really struggled to whittle it down. But who did you go with?
Yeah, I've gone with a bit of a different look centre line this year from last year. First up, pretty hard to go past Wandon's Jordan Jaworski. He's playing a lot more on the wing these days, although he is a player who can certainly roll into half forward as well. They've even trialled him off the half-back line a little bit well. Quite a versatile player, very fit, and really good goal sense. So hard to go past Geordie. Then on my other wing, this is actually a guy who I did play my junior footy with, Declan Brown of Monbulk. So I know a lot about Declan's game. He's an absolute fitness machine. This guy runs marathons here. Steph, get this. In March this year, ran 100 kilometres. So this is a guy who he ran 100 kilometres. He's a fitness freak, and he can just cover the ground all day. A bit like Geordie as well. He's a player who can go forward. He's got really good goal sense as well. So probably two pretty similar wingers, I'd say. And then Geordie Williams, who's one of the leading disposal together in Premier Division. Great user of the footy, really good footy smarts as well. So Geordie was my selection for my first on baller.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, I have gone with someone that we've already mentioned today for one of my wingers is Tanner Stanton. I've just been really impressed with how quickly he's fitted in at Pakenham and everything he's been able to produce. They're obviously having a really good season, so couldn't go past him. My other winger, Josh Tilley from Gembrook Cockatoos, regularly making team of the week, is a standout in that side week after week, and I think he's really impressive. And my first on baller, I couldn't go past Austin Smith from Yarra Glen. His stats are obviously insane at the moment. He's making a massive impact there. So had to pick Aussie.
No, definitely some good selections there as well, Steph. Well, that pretty much wraps up all there is to talk about on the Pedders Suspension and Breaks Out Arrest Football Netball Show this week. Remember, if there's anything you'd like to see in the show, make sure you leave a comment down below. Steph, thank you again for joining me in the studio.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me.
For all the viewers out there, don't forget to get your game face on.